Hey y'all, it's Lindsey. Oftentimes on my channel I talk about various recipes that I have made, and I put recipe videos here on my channel. I do what I eat in a day videos where I share other recipes that I have made. There's one that I have mentioned multiple times but have not yet shown you how I make it, so I thought today we would do that. I am going to be making my sweet Thai chili sauce. That is my version. It's not an authentic sauce. This is just my homemade version that is sugar-free, low carb, super friendly to the Ketovore way of life, the keto way of life, low carb way of life. Not carnivore, but whatever. So I am going to show you how I make this sauce. But first, if you are new here, thanks for stumbling across this video. I like to do what I eat a day videos, like I said. Occasionally I will do a grocery haul or something to that effect. I do eat a Ketovore way of life, which is low carb, high protein, moderate fat, and it works really, really well for my body in this stage of life. And I'm very big on the whole, do what works for your body in the season you're in. So there's that. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I hope you enjoy this recipe. I have a philosophy of wanting to reverse engineer everything. I want to be able to make the thing for myself, like take the item, say I love this thing, and then turn around, create it for myself, and have that skill set in the back of my mind in case I want to make it more often. I did the same thing whenever it came to my mayonnaise recipe, ranch dressing recipe, my chipotle ranch recipe. Condiments are really my jam when it comes to reworking them and making them at home from scratch so that I have those accessible to me anytime I want. And this sweet chili sauce is no exception. So yeah, I think that's enough rambling. Step one is to add half a cup of water to a saucepan, and then add 1/2 cup of rice vinegar. After that, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of allulose to the saucepan. And follow that up with a splash of coconut aminos, liquid aminos, whatever you may have on hand. Next up is sriracha. Normally I just pour this in without thinking about it, but this time I measured it out and chose to do about 1 tablespoon of sriracha. I added 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. Oftentimes I have to think through which ingredients have I used. This, yes, this. Okay, let's move on to the next. Let's add in 1 teaspoon of the dry ground ginger. If I had fresh on hand, I would mince up about 2 teaspoons. And then my red pepper flake. I initially think I'm going to try to use 1 teaspoon, but then I rethink that as I do have a tablespoon of sriracha, and red pepper flake is very potent. So increase or decrease the spiciness level based on your own preferences. That is one nice thing about this particular sauce. As you saw there, I did click my heat on to a medium temperature since you can't see the knob, and I'm whisking together all of those ingredients, getting them very well combined, well incorporated, if you will. This sauce, in my opinion, tastes best when you allow it to naturally reduce on a lower heat on the stove. You can speed up the thickening process using some of that glucomannan powder that you see in the upper right corner of my stovetop. But allowing this recipe to come to a simmer and allow the evaporation to happen, allow it to naturally reduce in order to create that thickness, produces a really nice finished product. The glucomannan is very handy to use if you are in a bit of a rush and need to pull together a thickened sauce more quickly. The struggle with that is it occasionally can become slimy almost, if you use too much of that glucomannan powder. So I do have a bit of time. I'm going to keep my glucomannan out just in case it does not thicken as much as I would like it to, but this is pretty much the way this is going to sit for the next, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. I will come through and mix it around a little bit just to keep those ingredients moving, to help it heat evenly throughout the entire pot and to ensure nothing on the bottom is scorched. The sweet chili sauce has been simmering away for almost 30 minutes at this point, and it feels rather thin still. Usually it will thicken a lot as it cools down, but we are getting a little bit anxious and hungry for dinner, and I kind of want to help the process along and show you how to use some of the glucomannan in order to help thicken this sauce. Using just 1/4 teaspoon of the glucomannan powder, I am going to slowly sprinkle that into my pot as I whisk vigorously. I don't want any of the glucomannan powder to become clumpy and produce weird little globules in the finished product. It is unpleasant whenever that happens, so I want to encourage you to take the extra 60 seconds to slowly whisk your glucomannan powder into your sauce or whatever you're trying to thicken. It will yield a better result for you. This has been simmering for a few minutes. I mix it up a little bit more, and I'm going to turn off my heat, set it aside, and allow it to cool down. I'm going to transfer my sauce over to this Pyrex container that is heat proof to allow it to cool completely before I put it in a storage container for my refrigerator, but I really wanted you to be able to see this sauce. It's a little easier to tell in the glass container versus the stainless steel pot. One of the simplest ways we use this sauce is when we make up some shredded cabbage and just pan sear some sliced chicken breast. It adds a lot of kick, a lot of flavor, and to add sort of that creamy factor, I like to add my homemade mayonnaise, which complements this sweet chili sauce very nicely. I really appreciate you watching this video. If you do give this recipe a try, let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you next time.